Oh. Namaste, everyone. So, today we are trying to understand, we are trying to solve the mysteries of relationship with the key of Vedic knowledge. Okay. I hope all of you will enjoy this webinar and all of you will understand and learn a lot of new things here. And if there is any doubt and if there any thought comes into your mind which you want to share, then we will be having a live meeting there. We can share thoughts and doubts with each other. Okay. So let's start. Now, today, I want all of you to understand and all of us to discuss certain points. There are some questions which comes to our mind, like who is a partner to me? Okay, how to choose a right partner? What is a partner? When we say this word partner, when we say the word soulmate or husband or wife, does that actually means? And how the soulmate is different than a life partner? There are many people say that, oh, he is my life partner, but he is my soulmate or she is my soulmate. No, why? What is the difference in that? Now, generally, for like last 10 years, I have done a lot of research and I have seen that usually nowadays the relationship are lasting maximum for 20 years. Either they get divorced before that or they don't feel compatible, they get separated. That is the maximum time when the husband and wife are actually connected to each other. It is possible that even after that they are remaining husband wife, they are entitled to be with each other, but they are living in the different rooms in the house, they are not communicating with each other much. So the question comes in mind that why it is happening, why people are not able to connect with each other. Hmm? Another question comes that see, when we talk about marriage, then there are so many traditions, there are different understanding of the marriage union. So how different religions, communities, they understand it? Another very important question: how your genetics, how your gene, how your DNA is connected to your relationship. Is it important to get a DNA test before marrying someone or before falling in love with someone? Huh? A big question comes in mind. Huh? Karmic exchange between partners. Yes, you do not only share your love with each other, you also share your karmas with each other. The past life samskara, past life karma, past life actions, good or bad, whatever you have done, you are carrying those karmas with you in this life. And when you connect with someone, you share them. So, how the exchange happened? Is it for good or bad? And at last, I will share a great, beautiful technique, the easy way to find your soulmate or to connect with your soulmate. It is possible that you already know who is your soulmate, you have realized, but you feel challenging to connect with them. So, such and many more questions we will be discussing and we will try to learn and understand them here. Let's start. First, what is the relationship? Uh, we are uh, learning and trying to solve the mysteries of relationship today. So first we must know what is a relationship. See, relationship is basically a union of two people. So it can be a business partnership, it can be a romantic partnership, it can be any partnership when basically relationship has another name, that is partnership. In Jyotish, in astrology, you see the seventh house is of your partner. The ascendant, the lagna is you, and seventh house from your ascendant, your rising lagna, that is your partner, opposite to you. Okay. Now, basically, your partner is not opposite to you. Okay. They are the one who are completing you. So, relationship is when two people connect with each other to complete each other. It can be on the physical level, it can be on the financial level, it can be emotional level or a spiritual level. But basically, the two people are connecting or coming together to complete each other. Okay. That is the simplest and easiest definition of relationship. Now, when we say partnership, then another question comes into mind. See, I'm a very curious person. I like to have questions and then try to find answers of them. So that is something we all are alive humans, and this is a basic curiosity we have. God has given us this blessing that our mind always keep asking question. That is a true blessing. Someone who doesn't have questions, no, many people feel ashamed of that. They feel that if they have the questions in their mind, then maybe they are dumb, maybe they are fools, they are not intellectual. But remember, if you have questions in your mind, it means you are intelligent, you are some intellectual person, because a stone, a non-living thing, doesn't have a question, and they are non-living, they are not even alive. If you are alive, you must have questions. We must always ask question to ourselves, to others, to the God, huh? To the God who is inside us. So the question comes, what is a partner? Now again, the partnership and partner have almost the same definition, that someone who connects with you to complete you as well as to complete themselves is a partner. Okay. Now, partners are usually of three types. Okay. They are the soul partner or your soulmate or life partner or your husband, wife or your friends. So these friends or relatives, it can be your parents, all of them comes, I have just put them into one category named friend. Now let's understand each of them. What are they? Huh? So first of all, what is a marriage, or what is a marriage partner, or what is a life partner? See, life partner is basically someone who is, before we learn about the life partner or marriage partner, let's learn what is marriage. Or in Vedic Sanatan Dharma, in Sanskrit, we call it Vivaha. In Islam, we call it Shadi. In in Western culture, they call it marriage or wedding. So let's understand all of these. First is Vivaha. Vi means some special way, uh, and Vaha means to take or to complete. So it is a special way, or when two people comes together to complete a task with a special care or with a special approach. Now, what is that special approach? See, Vivaha depends on the basic philosophy. The male is incomplete without a female, and the female is incomplete without a male. So, to complete each other, they have to come together. So, in Vivaha, male and female both come together with the spiritual understanding of their life purpose, and they do their physical, their social work, and their spiritual work together as a team, as a union. They both are equal to each other. They are different in their own ways. We will just see how they are different. But basically, Vivaha is based on the philosophy that male and female both are equal. They are working together as partners to achieve a goal. Now, Shadi, Shah means he or she, and Adi means first. Adi means the starting of something or first place. So, in Islam, the basic philosophy of marriage is that man and woman they are competing to each other. That who should be first. So the male officially says, Islam says that male is superior. Male is the first, male is the prominent in the marriage. Whereas internally, the female wants to lead. She when you put someone down for so long, she want to rebel. So the male who is dominatingly saying that I am the leader, the female is want to push him back and to take the first place. So there is a competition to get the first place. Okay. When we say marriage, now if you convert that into Sanskrit, you get mine. Okay. So possessiveness. Now in the West, the Western culture is strongly dominated by the French and American influence. Both are about possessiveness. Okay. Now, she is my wife. He is my husband. So basically what is happening that the husband and wife, they both are kind of competing with each other, or they are possessive, basically not competing, but they are possessive. Okay. They are competing with others to get the authority of their spouse. And you can see it around you that when you look into the house like in a neighborhood, you see that people are taking divorce. Why? Because husband was talking to a woman in office, and wife is possessive. She cannot tolerate any woman coming near to the husband. Now husband wants to take divorce because he got to know that wife was talking to some male in the market he saw, and when he asked, she lied. She was maybe planning for a surprise gift for the husband on birthday, so she lied. There could be thousands of reasons, but the husband doesn't go there. He just have this inner perception, and he want to remove everything. He want to destroy everything. Okay. So that is something what we say that possessiveness is ruling or leading the relationship. And when there is possessiveness, you can survive for, if you hold a bird too tight, you may kill them. The same thing happens when in the relationship when possessiveness comes there. So either husband and wife, they kill each other, they hurt each other physically or emotionally, or they hurt each other to that level that finally they can't survive with each other and they just want to leave. Okay. Now, to another question comes there. I'm taking so many questions and trying to understand answers of each. I'm sure that at the end, you will have a clear picture of relationship in your mind. Okay. So we are trying to find the empty spaces and we are trying to filling them, and hopefully at the end, it will convert into a beautiful picture into your mind. Now, another question comes that what is the genetics or DNA playing what role in the relationship? See, as per the medical science, as per the Vedic Ayurveda, which is the Vedic medical science, your genetic, your DNA completely changes after 7 generations. So, for example, your grandparents have a DNA, the same DNA pattern will be in your parents, the same DNA pattern will be coming to you. Okay, like a bit difference, like your grandparents came together, so their DNA will mix to make your your father or mother. Okay, now they came together, so their DNA is creating you. So, because your father, who was son of your grandparents, married to a woman who is from a different DNA chain. Now, they came together, created you. So, you do not share the same DNA as your father did. You have a different DNA because you are also having the DNA from your mother's side. So, this happening at every 7 generation, in the eighth generation, the DNA completely changes. Okay. So Ayurveda recommends that if you marry someone not connected to the 7 generations before you, from father side as well as mother side, then there are big chances that you will have a healthy child. Your child will not have any genetic disease. But if you marry someone who is belonging, who is connected to your family, to the within the 7 generations, father side or mother side, then the strong possibility is that your child will have genetic deficiency, and slowly, your DNA will completely be destroyed. Okay, like your child will marry someone. Now, the pattern will repeating, and the same thing happened to the Parsi community in India, that they were marrying to their own siblings continuously for a long time. And at the end, now you see that either they all are impotent, they can't produce a child, or they have the brain issues or other genetic issues. And it is kind of that their genetics is just destroyed completely. They are just getting removed from this planet because of the wrong genetics. Okay, so genetics is very important to be considered in a relationship. Now, another major question becomes now as we are talking about children. So, see, some couple they ask that some are not able to conceive a child, some don't want to have a child. Now, they ask generally that is it important to have a child? Especially like in Veda, in the Vedic culture, it is a major point to have a child. See, that is not true. Veda never say that you must have a child. No, it never say. Okay. Veda says that you must have a child. The child may not be born from your own semen or the egg. Okay. Now understand the point. What Rishi is saying, that you must have a child, but the child may not be born from your semen or your egg. Okay. So basically, in Jyotish also, you will see the fifth house represent your child, right? Fifth is the house of children, but it also shows your subordinates. It also shows your follower. It also shows your disciples, your followers, your students. They also represented by the fifth house. The child can be adopted also, right? If you adopt a child, slowly you start connecting emotionally and spiritually to the child, and soon this child becomes a part of you. So it is not, child is not the base of the relationship. Child is the fruit of the relationship. Understand it. Many people confuse that child is the base of relationship and the base of life. If I do not become a mother or father, then my life is useless. Sometimes this thought comes. But that is not right. That is not true. Child is the fruit of the union. It is a new karma you are creating. It is a new karma you are creating by giving birth to a child. Okay? That is why a sannyasi, someone who want to freedom from this world, they do not create a child. They do not want to create more new karma in this world. Now, for a child, we have to understand, first of all, that the child is the fruit of the relationship, but is it a fruit of your physical relationship or your spiritual relationship? Two are the different things. Okay. Now, before that, let's understand how we should choose a husband or wife, a life partner. So there are three very easy steps Maharshi has given. Now, this is Maharshi, my guru. He gave these three formulas. They were really easy, accurate, and they always work. They are the best way to find your partner. First, you must see the physical compatibility. Now, for that, we must follow nature. You can see in animals and birds, a male will have the animals you can observe around you. A male will make a relation with a female. That is a basic understanding, right? It is the law of nature. You will never see a male making relation with a male. Animals never do that. Okay. So, because they are following the law of nature, they are deeply connected to the nature. We are not. Okay. And that also, we will just understand why we do not connect so deeply with nature. So, the first rule he gives is that see the physical compatibility. If you are a male, then see that the person you like, is it a female or not? If it is a female, then yes, the 33% they can be your partner. Okay. So we have divided three formulas 33, 33, 33%. So the first step says yes, she can be your wife. If you are a girl and the person you like is a boy, then definitely he can be your partner. Okay. So first always see the compatibility. Now many people say that male and female are opposite gender. They are not opposite. Remember and understand, they are not opposite to each other. They are the missing pieces of each other. They are completing each other. A male is completing the female, a female is completing the male. They are not opposite. They are the missing pieces of each other. Okay. That is a basic difference we have to understand there. Now, when you find someone with the physical compatibility to yourself, then you see the psychological compatibility. Okay. Now, psychological, I will just discuss. Now, after psychological, you see the soul compatibility. Now, soul compatibility is your life purpose. So some people are born for the life purpose to do dharma. Dharma means connecting everyone with each other, connecting people with the nature, healing them, nourishing them, and loving them, okay, taking care of them. So if you have the life purpose following dharma, doing dharma, then you must connect with someone, you must marry someone who has the same life purpose. It is like you have a map, you are going from Latvia to Riga. Now, another person, like you are a girl, you have a map in your hand to go from Latvia, from Laipaza to Riga. Okay. Now you are standing in Laipaza and you want to go to Riga and you have a map in your hand. Now there is a boy who is also standing in the Laipaza and he has a map in his hand and he wants to go from Laipaza to Delhi, India. Now, the girl has a map, she has to go to Riga. The boy has a map, he has to go to Delhi. Now you can see they can not walk together. They cannot be together. Yes, one thing is possible. The boy can walk with the girl to Riga. They can walk together to the capital to Riga. Then the boy will move to Delhi. and then the girl will be alone. Understand? The life purpose is very important. You must have the same map as your spouse. For example, you have a map which is saying, no, it is the karmic pattern which is saying that you are born to create wealth. Artha. Earth means wealth. So, wealth is your life purpose, your goal, your motive. You must find someone who has the same goal. That is how you get success on your way, on your life path. Huh? So that is the soul connection, the soul compatibility. Okay, that is very, very important. If that is not there, if the life purpose is not same, you will get divorced or will get separated after just a while, and you will not be able to live together for long. And union is about a long lasting relationship, right? Now, we talked about the psychological compatibility. So, the physical compatibility we know, now we know the soul compatibility also, the spiritual compatibility. Now, let's learn the psychological compatibility. See, psychological compatibility means every man has two-third. If you divide them into three parts, the psychology, every male has two parts male, the masculine quality, and one part feminine, the woman quality in him. Okay. So every male, no male is completely male. Okay. Every male, every man, every boy has two parts of masculine quality, the male quality, and one part of feminine or female quality. Whereas every woman, every girl, she has two part of feminine quality, the woman quality, and one part of the masculine or male quality. Okay. So no man is completely a male and no woman is completely a woman. I am talking the standard view. In some men, you can see that they have one part of masculine and two parts of feminine. Some men, they are like females, they have the feminine qualities more. Some females, they have the masculine qualities more and less feminine quality. Okay. So basically, what is happening, the masculine quality, the man quality gives you focus, makes you aggressive, makes you bold, makes you uh, protective for others, and gives you the fighting spirit. Okay. The feminine quality, it gives you a wider view. Men can see on one thing, they are focused. Females can think on a wider view. Okay, they can see different things at the same time. They are like the supercomputers. Huh? Now, you all girls, you must be proud on yourself. Why, like, for being a girl, you have so many great qualities God has blessed you with. Now you see that a female is the nourisher. Females, they are the healers. They are the natural healers born here. So they have the healing quality. They can communicate and connect with others. They can see what today's action will result in the future. They have good intuition also. Okay. So many female qualities are there. They are a bit of, I should say, soft. Men's are harsh, females are soft. Okay, these are the feminine and masculine qualities difference. And now, if a male has more masculine, he is harsh, he is bold, he is fighter, he is aggressive, he is impulsive also. Okay, so many male qualities are there. If a female has more female qualities, then she is having all the female qualities. She is soft, she is kind, she is loving, caring, she is a healer. Okay, she is intuitive. But what if a male has more female qualities and less male qualities? No, because see, the lack of ignorance is a big problem. Now the man start thinking that he is a girl, but he is not. He is a male with body, with psychology. He is born with more masculine, more feminine qualities and less masculine qualities. Basically, what he decides, that he start feeling sexual toward the male. Okay. But basically, what he was supposed to do, what he must do is that he must find a woman. We said, see, the physical compatibility is important. The body he is in is of male. So he has to find someone with a female body. But she must have more masculine quality and less feminine quality. Now, that man who has more feminine quality and less masculine quality will completely be compatible with that girl who has more masculine and less feminine quality. So, physically, the man is marrying a woman, a girl, whereas psychology, if we say, then a man who has the psychology of woman is marrying a woman who has the psychology of a man. A perfect compatibility, a perfect physical and psychological compatibility is there. Okay. Now, if spiritual compatibility is also there, if they also have the same life goal, you see what a successful relationship they will have their whole life. The divorce or separation element will be eliminated completely. They will never feel the need to be separated because they are perfect match for each other. And that is what the relationship depends on, compatibility, completing each other. Until and unless you are capable to complete each other, you are just living together like friends. You are not husband and wife. You are not boyfriend or girlfriend. There is just a friendship between you that, okay, you want to help someone to live with, or you want to help someone having the sexual satisfaction. That is all. Until and unless there is physical as well as emotional, the psychological, and the spiritual compatibility, the relationship can never be perfect. Okay, what we always crave for, what our inner self wants, the perfection in relationship. Huh? Now, at last, what is left is the soulmate connection. Now, here we find so many theories, so many confusions, so many statements. Let's make everything easy. See, the physical partner is, or your life partner is, someone who is helping you living your life, managing your life. Okay, that is your life partner, your husband or wife. Friends are some people who stand by your side and support you in your tough times. They go out with you, have fun, and they come to support you in your bad times. They are friends. But what is a soulmate? Soulmate is someone who supports your soul to evolve on the higher level of consciousness. Now, the life partners are for life only. When you die, you do not carry your life partner with yourself. Have you seen anyone saying that, okay, now I'm dying, so please bury my wife or husband also with me? You will never see. Or if you say your husband that when I will die, I want you to get buried with me, with my dead body. Your husband will run away from you even today. He won't wait for that day to come. Life partners, they are only with you till the moment you are alive. After death, the relation is also broken. The relationship is gone now. It is finished because they were your life partner. Came to you, made a union with you to have a good life for you as well as for them. Now the bond is broken. The soulmate, the partner of soul is someone, or the soul partner is someone who connects with you on a soul level and who is walking with the soul. So when the soul first came from the Supreme Being and it took birth on this planet, that is when you, in the first birth, you find your soulmate. Now, till you are walking on this or some other planet, keep taking birth, until you get the salvation, the freedom from life cycle, you get the moksha, till then you have your soulmate walking with you. Either the person can be there physically walking with you, maybe you know them, they are born with you here, or maybe they are spiritually they are with there with you, or maybe they are connected to your soul and your consciousness and they are still walking with you. Soulmate has one purpose. They are not for your body, they are for your soul and your mind, and they are walking with your soul in each life, helping your soul to rise on the higher consciousness level. Okay. Now, basically, every relation we have to test if they are your soulmate or not. Okay. We have to do a logical test for that. So, you see that your life partner, your husband or wife, maybe in this life, whom you have as your husband or wife, will marry someone else in their next life. There is no guarantee, right? It is their choice, their free will. Their parents, they are your parents because you share the same DNA, because you share the same blood. Your friends are with you because you both have the same choices, same likes or dislikes. If you are vegan and someone is a hardcore non-vegetarian, you will see that your friendship bond will start getting weaker, because friendship is all about same liking, same connection, right? Same choices. So basically what we see that the physical relations we have in this life cannot be your soulmate. Soulmate is someone who is walking with your soul. Soulmates, the basic, as per the tradition, as per the Vedic wisdom, only your guru can be your soulmate. Because guru doesn't need your body, guru doesn't need your any benefit from you. Basically what guru needs is your benefit. Guru wants you to rise, guru wants you to evolve, guru wants your soul to evolve. That is the first purpose. That is the base of the guru disciple relation, the rise, the evolution of the disciple. That is the base of guru disciple relationship. Huh? Now, we will just understand that in a bit more deeply. First, there is another question comes that what is the karmic exchange between partners? So see, when you marry someone or when you fall in love with someone, when you have a one night stand with someone, you can just say that, it was just I liked the person. I just had the sex with the person. But that is not all you are having. You are sharing your karmas with the person. You are connecting karmically with the person. That's why in the Vedic tradition, before sleeping with someone, we test whether the person is a life partner or not. There are so many thoughts you give before you sleep with someone. Why? Many times you see a person, a child, a young teenager who is so talented, who has so much luck on their side, and at the age of 16, 17, usually they fall in love with someone and they have a relationship for 1 or 2 years. They sleep with the person, they enjoy with the person. And after that, you see they have a big downfall in their life. They are continuously losing. And that person, that partner is rising, maybe, or maybe the person is also losing. Depends on how much good luck you have both. Now, that is happening because the child, when you fall in love with someone, you share your good karmas with the person. Now, it depends who has more good karma. If you have more good karma, then your good karmas will go to your spouse, your lover, your partner. And if they have more good karma than you, then their good karmas will flow to you. So basically, the good karmas are coming to you and protecting you from the bad karmas who want to hurt you. Okay. So whenever you fall in love with someone, whenever your soul make a strong connection, whenever your heart makes a strong connection with someone, with that emotional connection, with that heart to heart connection, you make a karmic exchange with each other. That is why, if you want to keep your luck with you, you must make union only with people who have good karmas in their karmic account. Huh? Something new? Hmm? This is something we all must practice in our life. If we want to make the world a better place, if we want to make our lives better, we must make union with people who also have good karmas in their karmic account. That is why I always say, whether you want to be a professional astrologer or not, you must learn Vedic astrology just for yourself. The first need is yourself. Okay. The first requirement, the first priority is you. You will say that why we should be selfish. I say we all should be selfish. Just a bit difference, you know. I am the most selfish person on this planet, I say. I proudly say that. I am the most selfish person on this planet. The definition of self is a bit different for me. For me, this whole planet is me. Okay. The whole planet Earth, everyone living in it is me. So when I say that I'm selfish, I want growth of myself. I want growth of everyone who is living in this planet. You must be selfish. Just you must take everyone, all this planet, this universe as you, as yourself. Huh? Now, one another question you must ask yourself, and that must come in the mind. Many times it happens that your spouse is not able to connect with your soul frequency. Sometimes even you are not able to connect with your own frequency. If that is happening, if you are feeling lost in life, you live with a man or a woman and you are living with someone, you are having children with them, you are doing everything with them, but still there is no satisfaction. You don't feel complete with them. Now, what you must do, how to make that feeling, how to be complete with them. See, in that situation, you have to understand that on the body level, your partner is satisfying you, right? So it is not that your body is uneasy, it is your soul which is uneasy. Your soul is not balanced, it is not stable, it is not feeling complete. So basically, you have to connect with your soulmate, with your guru, to have that strong connection to feel complete from inside. Because outside already your spouse is completing you, right? The spiritual satisfaction is important there. Now, when the spiritual comes, the emotional satisfaction automatically comes. Okay? Emotional is different than physical. The physical satisfaction comes from physical gains. Emotional satisfaction comes from the spiritual gains. Okay? Sometimes we feel that the physical things are giving us happiness, but that doesn't long last. That comes quickly and goes quickly. But when you have the spiritual satisfaction, then that happiness is for lifelong. Now, the question will come that how we should connect that with the guru, how we should build that soul connection. There are different ways. First of all, the first step is that keeping the pictures of the guru around you. Now you can make a locket of the with the picture of guru and keep it in your neck. You can get the printouts of the picture and you can put on the walls of the house or your office or your like study place. You can keep the wallpaper in your phone. Okay. Now, why you are keeping the pictures? Because your eyes are the doorway to your subconscious mind. Okay. Now, see, if you want to connect with something spiritually, first you have to connect with the person in this outer world. That is very important. You can't directly go inside, right? So, to open the doors of your subconscious mind, you have to first let the guru connect with your eyes. Okay. So, when the image of guru print on your retina, it goes into the subconscious mind. That is how it opens the door of the subconscious mind. So, that is the first step to open the doors of the subconscious mind. The second step comes that you now there can be a lot of negativity in the subconscious mind. It is logged for so many lifetimes. Who knows how many years it has been logged? You don't know what is inside. Is it some good memory or some bad memory, some good energy or bad energy, some good feeling or bad feeling? You don't know that. So before, when you open your that subconscious mind, the door of subconscious mind, you start chanting regularly. Whenever you get free time, you just chant the name of Guru or the mantra of Guru. In the Kapi tradition, the mantra to connect with Guru is Om Kapi Devaya Namaha. Om Kapi Devaya Namaha. Now that is Om. Om is the name of God, the energy of God. Kapi is the someone who depend on nature, who is completely made out of nature and completely connect to the Vedic teachings. Deva means the giver who gives you the teachings of Kapi. Okay. Namaha, I bow to. Okay. So basically you are chanting the mantra that you are saying that I bow to the Guru, to the representation of God, who is the giver of the connection with nature and the knowledge of nature and Vedas to me. Okay, who is the giver? Deva. So that is the mantra we chant. By chanting the mantra, the vibrations of the mantra, they slowly they start, you know, cleansing your subconscious self. So the subconscious mind, when your table or something is dirty, what you do, you take a cloth and you start kind of hitting it with the cloth and it get cleans. The same way the vibrations, they are cleansing. Your subconscious is energy. Your mind is energy self. It is also frequency. Okay. So the frequency are bad, at those frequencies with the rhythmic, the good frequency of the Guru mantra, they balance the energy, the frequency of your subconscious mind. Now you must meditate to on the Guru. Now meditation is going to a different level inside you and to recall, recollect all the previous experiences and memories you have had with the Guru. That is very important. To make any relation strong, you must know from where it is coming. You must connect with all those good memories, the good experience with your Guru, what you have had in previous life in the Gurukul and in your life. So meditation becomes a major part. On meditation, we have already had many sessions. Also in the live webinar, I will talk more on the meditation and we all will do the meditation together. Okay. Now the last way is that, see, we all have some physical disease. Okay. The body is some way not working perfectly. We have so many virus and bacteria in the environment. So for that, you must, while you meditate on the Guru, you must perform the fire ritual, the Yajna ritual. What the ritual does, the herbs you offer in the fire while doing the ritual, those herbs, they go inside your body, they heal your body. Because to contain that, when you start meditating on the Guru, the energy of Guru will start rising inside you. But to hold, to control, to keep that energy in you, you need a strong body, right? You need a strong body for that. How you will create that? The energy of Guru is rising in the subconscious mind. Your brain is what is keeping the subconscious mind in it. You need a strong brain. The herbs you offer in the yajna ritual, the fire ritual, they nourish your brain and your body organs, and they give you a strong brain and your strong body, which is capable to hold the energy rising inside you while meditating on the Guru. So these are the basic options we see. I have tried to share here as much I could on the relationship, on how the relationship should be, and what are the way to heal it to make it better. Now, I want all of you to process it, to listen to it again and again. And in the live session, when we all connect, whatever thoughts coming into your mind, whatever doubts or question comes into your mind, I want all of you to share those questions. So we can sit and we can talk and we can discuss all those questions. Okay? Bless you all. Oh.